Cropping Up Stockers, Zach the Stock Cropper. Happy Easter to everyone. Lots to catch you up on, a lot of things been happening in the last month, and we're gonna get to it right now. So we've got some fun additions to the project. So these are a couple of the ewes that we kept back to breed last fall, and we had lambs in the last, I think about last 3 weeks. We had a set of twins and then this big single in between here. And so these are going to be some of the lambs that we have heading over to the cropper here in about, probably about 6 weeks, I would guess, when things take off. But the interesting thing that we had was this little girl right here that came out, and we had some intact goats. So our Nubian goats were still intact, and there was a lot of action last fall, and I think this little one may in fact be a cross between a goat and a sheep, affectionately known as a geep. Just has a different body conformation than the others here, a little bit different looking head, and so we may send our little geep mascot off for DNA testing to see if we have a biological anomaly produced by the stock cropper and the biodiversity, which is fun stuff. So part of the reason I'm working Easter morning head to the farm already is the fact I've been gone the last day and a half out to Milwaukee, Wisconsin to solidify a deal with a manufacturing partner to move forward making cluster clucks at scale. And so I am unbelievably proud and thrilled to announce this morning on Easter that Stock Cropper Inc. and Dawn Equipment's Underground Agriculture Company are going to be partnering on building cluster clucks in the future. And so our arrangement is that Dawn will provide engineering and our Underground Agriculture will provide engineering, design, and manufacturing capacities, and they'll be doing that at their new manufacturing facility in South Milwaukee, and that thus for going to the city of the Algonquin. And so we went out there, and I met with their team Friday afternoon, and they're going to be tasked with getting our new mini cluster cluck version, so a smaller version of the barn meant to go in smaller confined spaces. They're going to be working on that, as well as the solar powered and autonomous movement that we will unveil some point this summer. So again, very, very excited to announce this partnership. We've been working on it for about 4 months, hashing it out, figuring out how it's going to work, but I couldn't be more tickled to align with somebody that has the same ethos around the, and I guess overall direction of where somebody's mind like Joe Bassett thinks the future opportunities in agriculture are going to be. And it's just been a really, really fun process to figure out how we're going to work together. But I'm very excited about the partnership and the ability to scale and ratchet this thing up over the course of time. So more news on this to come. I've had several people ask about the ability to buy barns for this year. I get quite a few messages a week about that. The reality is that with where we're getting onboarded here right now with them, we're going to be pretty limited. The goal for the project this summer is to at least kick out 2 or 3 barns initially by mid-June, and then we'll see after that how things go, if we will try to make any more for people that would want to maybe take one mid to late summer, something like that. So, but really the intention here is that we will be geared up for the winter of 22 to be taking orders and making a lot of cluster clucks in South Milwaukee, which is a great place to have a manufacturing partner, because they have these wonderful little towny bars on every corner in all these great blue collar working neighborhoods, and it's just it's really fun to see this thing happen, and to think about the idea of creating jobs and opportunities, and I'm pumped. So I'm hoping you are too, and ready to come along and watch the ride this year. So a lot of projects finishing up, working on the sprayer here this morning, trying to get the tips and caps and plumbing on. We finished hauling our old crop soybeans this week, so we need to wash the truck up and get that put away. But I wanted to show you my latest purchase in the stock cropper equipment division. I bought this cute little 15-foot tie drill on an auction about 2.5 weeks ago, and needed to get something that could seed at a 10-foot width. And so we bought this thing as a 15-footer, and it was at 15-inch spacing, and so we took some of the units and narrowed them up so that we've got roughly about 7.5, 8-inch spaced runs. They're jammed in there pretty good. Eventually what we're going to do, in order to be able to fit down 10-foot corridors, is we're going to cut these ends off and move the drive wheel system in so that we'll have a true 10-foot drill. But this is what is going to be seeding our pasture hopefully tomorrow. We've got rain forecast for Tuesday night, but I'm thinking tomorrow afternoon Juice and I are going to go out and establish our cool season annual mixes, as well as some field peas and barley mixes with this bad boy. So we got the corn planter out. This is pretty much ready to go. Just a couple small things finalized on that project, but if I wanted to, could be planting corn today. It's really fit out there. The double green flag marks the spot. This is the site that we have picked out for the 2021 stock cropper plot. It goes from between these strips here, 96 rows or 96 strips that way. You can't see the little green flag. And then it's going to go about 750 feet. So we're going to have about 4 acres this year that are going to be in the project in primetime entertainment here along State Highway number 9, just east of Buffalo Center. I'm thinking about, on these little stub rows that butt up inside the acreage here, we may just put this to a hay pasture, so that if we try to hold back and breed some more sheep and goats next year, that we'll have some hay to take off of this and feed them for the winter, or serve as a parking spot maybe for our field day later this year. But what we're going to have this year in this site is 3 different barns, 3 cluster clucks, and the idea for the demonstration plot this year is to demonstrate the size of scale. So we're going to have a 30-foot wide barn that's going to have cattle and hogs and I think laying hens in it. Next we'll have a 20-footer, which is the barn we had last year, with sheep and goats out front, pigs again, and then chicken tractors behind. And then over here on the far side, we're going to have our 10-footer that I talked about, that Underground Agriculture will be constructing for us, and likely will be the first version of the barn to have autonomous movement packed into it. So, but this is a great site to put it on. We've got our cereal rye that you can see that is already established here, and after the heat the next 2 days is really going to be greening up really well. So we're going to come out and we're going to drill tomorrow into these strips and bean stubble here and the rye, our annual mix of the first 45 days of pasture run. And then on the second run of pasture, when we come back down the lane, we will have a summer mix that will probably seed in about a month, I would guess, with species like Japanese millet and some other stuff to really produce a lot of forage for later in the summer. So, but you know, that's the idea, is we're going to have 3 different sizes, trying to show the scope of the different applications for the barns and what they'll have. And hopefully by the end of the summer, we will have the autonomous features and solar powered built into the barn as well, and moving them across our site. So that's a sneak peek. We're gonna have some more footage of us drilling tomorrow, likely, when we're out here. But it is nice and dry. If I had some true gonads, I probably should be planting corn today, because it's about as nice as it gets for conditions here. But off to a dry start. We've got some rain coming, so it'll be good to get our pasture mixes seeded, get a good rain, especially for our field peas, to get them wetted up and started, and we'll be off to the races. One of my favorite things to do to make me feel good about doing things like cover crops especially is to come out here and grab a clump of root action to see what's going on, but put it up into my nose and get a good whiff of it, and then come over and compare it to where we tilled in our strips. You can see this is really dry. You know, that if you want to see the difference that a living root and non-disturbance makes, just smell the difference between the two of them. Or if you don't have cover crops, go to a fence line in your field and where you've tilled, and put it in your nose and see what your nose tells you about how much biology is happening when you have these tilled areas versus areas where you have life happening early in the spring. So a couple other updates on things of note this week. We should be starting construction of the larger 30-foot stock cropper barn this week. We're going to call that one the big boy, the Cluster Cluck Max 9, appropriately named. And that one I'm hoping should be home and completed by mid-May from the fabrication shop that's working on that. So we've got that going. I already talked about what Underground Ag is going to be building on the smaller version. And then we're going to be doing a few modifications to the 10-foot barn, or our 20-foot barn from last year as well. The other bit of news that I'm really excited about that's happened in the last couple weeks since the last video is I was able to secure a very, very talented young lady from Iowa State University to be an intern on the project this summer. Somebody to chore and take observations and just do a lot of the things that we didn't have time for last year that I wanted to get done. I wanted to have somebody on site pretty much dedicated to the project throughout the summer. She's going to be doing some social media and some marketing stuff, some content creation, maybe actually help me with video editing. And so she's going to be starting sometime in May, and it's going to be really nice to have another set of hands around to help with things with me and Juice running all the other operations that we're running right now. One of the other fun things that happened this week was we secured our first sponsorship. So it wasn't WD-40. For all those who were hoping that would happen, but we were able to land the best chick provider in all of the Midwest, Hoover's Hatchery out of Rudd, Iowa. And so we're going to be doing some collaborations with them on some YouTube content and some blogs, and they've got a website, a portal that they've created to kind of share information about pastured poultry, which is an important part of the stock cropper. And so we are going to be excited to be worked and or worked with them this summer, and be sponsored, and have proud to have chickens and laying hens, I guess, from Hoover's Hatchery. So for all your chick, laying hen, poultry needs, go to Hoover's Hatchery in Rudd, Iowa. My first truly shameless plug. Probably not so shameless since they're sponsoring us, but anyway, check them out. It's going to be a busy spring. We're just getting ready to kick off. Like I said, we're going to be drilling our pasture strips in tomorrow, and then looks like some rain later in the week, and then after that, next time it dries up, we will probably be green light on putting corn in the ground and continuing work on design and construction and all sorts of things. So 2021, we thought 2020 was crazy for the project. 2021 is going to be a lot more intense, a lot more things going on, but I am super stoked. This space continues to get more fun, and I continue to get connected with more interesting people every day, and I'm just looking forward to bringing it and sharing it with you here over the course of the next 8 to 9 months again. So that's it for now. I hope everyone had a happy Easter and did something other than work on plumbing and sprayer this morning. So have a good week.